Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to our next lesson here in the unit Lifespan Development, looking at infants and children. So today we're going to take a look at emotional development. And here are our objectives and standards to explain how children develop emotionally and to analyze the key elements of emotional development. And take a moment there to look over the standards, please. And our desired result, which please be sure to include in your weekly summary: how do children develop emotionally? So vocabulary, imprinting is the tendency of some newborn animals to follow the first moving object they see, and critical period is development in a specific time where certain skills abilities, are mostly learned. So children begin to develop emotionally while they are developing physically as well. They begin to attach themselves to people and learn how they are feeling and thinking. There have been experiments with baby birds and monkeys that show there is a certain time required for attachment. Attachment cannot be formed if an animal is too young or too old typically, and infants will develop in a different way if the attachment is not made or occurs in a different manner. So Lorenz and Imprinting. So imprinting is a virtually permanent learning process. Conrad Lorenz studied baby geese and learned they became attached to their mothers relatively quickly. These goslings, which are baby geese, would follow the first thing they saw moving after hatching, and this is, again, imprinting. So here's a picture of Lorenz and the baby geese there. So he realized that if baby geese watched him right after they were born, they would typically follow him around, or a green box he would drag around. So whatever the animal sees first, it typically follows. Now, Lorenz also learned that the goslings are especially sensitive after birth, and whatever they learn during this critical period, 13 to 16 hours after birth, leaves a major impression. Now, just like with Lorenz, these birds obviously will learn that he is not their mother and that he's not a bird, so imprinting will eventually correct itself if it's formed incorrectly. So it may not form itself properly right away, but it will eventually correct itself. Like birds will follow birds, a dog will follow a dog. But again, in the beginning stages, an animal will typically follow the first thing it sees. So Harlow and surrogate mothers. So American psychologist Harry Harlow studied the relationship between mother and child by looking at rhesus monkeys. He wanted to know what makes the mother so important. So in order to achieve this, he took the rhesus monkeys away from their mothers shortly after birth. Harlow then raised the monkeys with two surrogate or substitute mothers. Now the baby monkeys could choose from a monkey constructed of wood and wire or constructed of cloth. Overall, the baby monkeys chose the cloth monkey for comfort and safety. So even though the monkey made of wood and wire was maybe more stable and sturdy, the baby monkeys typically chose the cloth monkey, as you can see in that bottom picture down there, because when they were approached with a strange object or a strange creature, they typically clung to the softer monkey for safety because they knew it was soft and comforting. So again, this is what maybe other newborn babies do as well, is clinging to their mothers is for comfort and safety, was the reason behind this. So forming connections with humans. There are psychologists that believe humans begin to form attachments to some form of mother at about 6 months. This is because humans are able to distinguish one person from another after developing object permanence. We've learned about that already. Now, attachment is a deep, caring, and close emotional bond between an infant and caregiver, and this is the strongest from the age of 6 months to 3 years. So between the age of 6 months and 3 years, that's when attachment is typically the strongest. Children after the age of 3, they develop the skill that to imagine their mother even if she is absent. So if they go to school, or they know that their mother still exists. So after the age of 3, we realize that, hey, I might not see my mom, but my mom is, somewhere else right now. Now, changes to attachment. Now, once attachment is created, disruption to that can be disturbing to a child. For example, a 1-year-old child may develop anxiety when encountering a stranger, even if their mother is present. Now, stranger anxiety will typically pass if the mother remains present, but children may develop separation anxiety if the mother suddenly disappears, and this can result to psychological disorders if this happens persistently. So, family attachment. So, attachment in families was studied by Mary Ainsworth with John Bowlby, or Bowlby, I guess. She developed a technique called the strange situation to study attachment. Now, during the experiment, mothers would enter and leave a room when there was a stranger present or not. And the experiment revealed that there are 3 patterns of attachment, and since then, psychologists have discovered a 4th style of attachment. So the first one is the secure attachment. The secure attachment states that what would happen is that a child would show some distress when the mother left, but understood that she would eventually return. So the mother would leave, but the child would, become upset a little bit, but they also realized that, mom's coming back. Avoidant attachment was when a child showed little emotion when the mother arrived or departed. So the mother would leave, the child showed little emotion, and then, the mother would come back or whatever, or depart, and, as this happened, the child would show little signs of emotion here and there. Resistant attachment is when a child will explore a little with a stranger when a mother is present, but becomes very distressed when she leaves. So, the child may feel comfortable exploring a stranger or walking around the room when the mother is present, but as soon as the mother leaves and it's just them and the stranger, then the child becomes very distressed. And disorganized attachment, this became a theory later on, is a child reacts in a different way, such as not being upset when she leaves the room and avoiding her upon return. Typically, we expect the child to become upset when she leaves and become happy when she returns, but it seems very odd and disorganized that the child is not upset when she leaves and kind of avoids her upon return. This could be this could be from prior experiences, from child abuse, or maybe the mother has said or done something in the past that the child recognizes, so signs of that are alarming as well. Alright, so wrapping up our lesson here with our closure. How do children develop emotionally? Think about the different types of attachment we've talked about. Think about the study with the monkeys and the surrogate mother, and think about all those different elements and changes that can occur that help children develop emotionally. Alright, include this again in your weekly summary chart. Try to do your best on the questions that follow. Hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and talk to you soon.